from some standpoint, for those who are not awakened even to the idea that there's such thing as an awakening, it is the ultimate experience of not knowing. And then thus, you know, from the interpretation of the human incarnation as a soul self, believing that you don't know, right? Your soul self is always aware. But your rudimentary, I guess, form of operation without the allowance into the belief of awareness, right? And that's kind of where it becomes really a shit show, is you don't even allow yourself to believe that there's such thing as awareness.
Right. Awareness and a choice in the matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, right. Everything's a choice.
Yeah.
But that you think there's, this is it, right?
Yeah. This is it. These are the cards I've been dealt, or whatever.
Yeah, but to that extent, you're really, really married to that reality that everything is really important. You know, the I don't know, the color of your skin really, really matters. The type of car you drive really, really matters. Which side of the country you live on really, really matters. What side of the world, like all of these things like that define you as a human. I mean, heck, it gets down to the color of your toothpaste matters.
Right.
The type of toilets you have matters. You just get lost in the nuance.
Right. And it matters so much that it's worth, arguing about and fighting over.
Mm. So yeah. So maybe this is the good time to bring it in. I brought this in the previous podcast, but I will retouch it just because I had a different interpretation of it a couple of nights ago. But at the point of the source, you exist in this form that really feels like home. Like it's so peaceful and it's so restful, and it is the ultimate place to rest. Like I have been resting in it for the last 2 days, and it has been, it's been really nice. And then the way we then come into this form, into this body, and then I decide to be Tanya in this physical reality, is the propagation into decisions or parameters, whatever you want to call it, then would build the narrative of me, right? And, so sooner or later, you will be able to feel how it feels to go from the source, the null, right? The point of rest, and then progress itself into this form through conscious awareness, that the choice is what makes that dive. How deep you go is the number of definitions that you hold and derive into your choice of self.
Yeah, I think that's key. Is the number of definitions and how strongly you're married to them is a really good way to word it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we all have definitions. At the base level, I am a human. And it's like, wow, how I'm really married to that. How am I not? Right.
Yeah.
But I am, you know, I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
a man, a white man
do
in
you
Kentucky.
so in your opinion, do you think I'm a human is at the core or not?
I don't know. Can you think of something more fundamental?
So I think at the bottom, so right, definitions, you can correlate this. Definition is equivalent to density, and it is equivalent to frequency. They're all interchangeable.
And definitions don't have to start with I am. It could be this is, or that is, or he is, or she is. But I think the self definitions are the strongest and maybe most dense.
Yeah. So the lowest form of density, the thing that drags us down the most and gets us to sink into this belief of structure, right? So I'm not talking about from the awareness standpoint. Like if you have zero awareness, right? Your definitions would be fear and pain and suffering, right? The kind of like on the David Hawkins' scale of those lower emotional things, to where you're not even aware there's such thing as awareness because you're currently lost in the awareness of fear or in the awareness of suffering or awareness of tragedy. Whatever that fear-based thing is it gets you to sink in and then basically builds the strongest anchor. It builds the strongest anchor to stay here, right? Because that's the definition of your life. My life is fear. My life is grief. My life is, judgment. My life is tragedy, whatever. And then I guess step one would be to go into the idea of awareness to start to densify that. And, like for the last 50 something episodes, all we've been talking about how to densify that initial layer, right? But then at some point, what comes in is your definition of self, such as, remember we brought this into also in the past, like, who are you, right? And you would say, oh, well, I'm a computer engineer, or I'm a, white male, or I am a Kentuckian, or I am an American, or I am whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a human.
I'm a human.
It's like, it's hard
I'm a father.
I'm an earthling. It's hard for people to go beyond that. It's hard. That I think to a lot of people, that is the most general statement you can get that would apply to everybody. I am a human, or I am an earthling, or something. And it's like, while that is true, is that who you are?